Good day, everyone. Thanks so much for joining in. Today, I'm going to read out of the Shiva Samhita chapter 4. It's on practice. There's a lot of information, great information in the Samhita. A lot of it, say, is, well, if you're used to reading, say, the Upanishads, Yoga Sutra, Brahma Sutra, a lot of the information is certainly repeated here. But it's a dialogue, really. This is a dialogue of sorts. As Shiva passes information to his consort, Parvati. The book is said to have been written about 500 years ago. And its practices, well, they're quite practical at times. Certainly that's what we'll get into today. And at other times, quite mysterious and esoteric. No matter, it's a really fascinating read. So if you have an opportunity to pick up the book, I certainly suggest you do so. Today we're going to be dealing with, well, a few aspects of practice that can be really important. Really, it's about your attitude or the kind of personal qualities that you possess while you practice or as you engage in your practice, whether it's, just meditation, breathing, your work even, right? Your family life as well. So again, reading out of chapter 4, we begin, I believe, with passage 16, right? So passage 16, it begins with faith. Perfection is assured for those who are self-possessed. For others, there will be no success. So one should practice zealously, right? Going on to 17, perfection will never happen for those who are devoted to worldly attachments, who do not have faith, who do not worship their gurus, who are very social, who delight in lying, who speak harshly, and who do not please their gurus. That was 17 and 18. 19, the first mark of perfection is the conviction that one's practice will bear fruit. The second is having faith. The third is honoring one's guru. And 20, the fourth is equanimity. The fifth, restraint of the sense organs. And the sixth, curbing of the diet. There is no seventh. Always enjoy that part. Okay, so again, the 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, if we begin with 16th passage, with faith, perfection is assured for those who are self-possessed. Self-possessed. And, well, first, let's tackle this that I find really kind of most important. And I think with anybody who attempts to practice yoga beyond its most superficial level, right, of just, a physical practice, but really working on having a good understanding of how your mind operates, how the mind might kind of augment your behavior, and how to kind of polish it up. If you're working towards that goal in your yoga practice, then this passage, with faith, perfection is assured. Right? With faith, perfection is assured. And then as we go down to the 19th passage, the first mark of perfection is the conviction that one's practice will bear fruit, which is a little contrary to some of the other teachings that might arise, say, like in the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, for instance, where, we should not have an attachment to the fruits of our labor, of course. In the Yoga Sutra 120, you have Shraddha, this idea of faith as well, where you obviously can't go into something believing that it's not possible to accomplish. So it's like the razor's edge that you might be riding there, right? That is, okay, well, I'm going to engage in this practice with every intention of being successful at it. And, you might define success in a very, varying way. But nonetheless, You also have to practice, like weighing out scales, leveling out scales with as much belief you have in conviction you have in, kind of evolving in your practice. In the short term, not being attached to any goal, but instead allowing it to evolve over time. I really can't stress how important that part is, right? Having like this deep faith, or as it says in 19, the first mark of perfection is the conviction that one's practice will bear fruit. I suppose maybe we should be really careful in having short-term expectations in our practice. I don't want to say that we should have maybe false expectations or think that we through our practice we expect to reach the loftiest goals of our yoga practice, but instead we practice to whatever degree we might practice. We should have faith that the results will turn in our favor. Okay. And of course, in 16, it goes on, for others, there will be no success. No one should practice. I apologize. Let me just repeat that whole part. For others, there will be no success. Right? So if you're not convicted to your practice, of course, there will be no success. So one should practice zealously, right? Practice with enthusiasm. I've always thought about this, this word, is practicing zealously, or being enthusiastic. And there's some great, modern day writings about it. Angela Duckworth, she goes on and on about it, either through her podcast or through some of her writings. And that is the study of your own personal enthusiasm. How do you get yourself enthusiastic about a task that you might find typically mundane? Of course, there are techniques. One is just simply changing your mind. If you're karma yoga, we just simply change your mind, viewing a thing not as mundane, but as, maybe exciting and interesting, no matter how mundane it might actually be. And then going on to 17 and 18, perfection will never happen for those who are devoted to worldly attachments. This is a common refrain. Who do not have faith. So, obviously, we've talked about faith, it's convictions. We don't have faith, chances are we won't be that successful. Who do not worship their gurus. It's something you got to kind of take with a grain of salt, I think. Who are very social. So this is... The next few are, kind of interesting. Who are very social. So, I realize this is a form of social media, but I think this should extend to social media as well. So perfection will never happen for those who are very social. I suppose, you might interpret that as the mind being kind of like all over the place. Maybe the desire of having to have interactions, not being fulfilled if one were not to have, these social interactions. But going on, who delight in lying. So perfection will never happen for those who lie. Again, pretty common. Who speak harshly. I think it's a great one. I was talking to my daughter yesterday about pleasantness, and practicing being pleasant. It's, for a lot of us, those is actually a practice. To a certain degree, Patanjali brings up the idea of the practice of friendliness, or one might interpret 133 as the practice of friendliness and mercy and so on. But, certainly not being harsh. So in that case, an actual yoga practice might be the practice of being pleasant. And it goes on, who do not, and those who do not please their gurus. Again, maybe take that with a grain of salt. We go on to 19. The first mark of perfection is the conviction that one's practice will bear fruit. We've talked about this. The second is having faith. They almost go hand in hand. The third is honoring one's guru. So again, actually, if we were to read through this almost first quarter, third of chapter 4, there's a lot of the same language, honoring of one's guru. So, but we go on to the 20th passage. Right? This, again, the first mark of perfection. Okay, the fourth mark of perfection is equanimity. And another thing that is so difficult for us to practice, right? We're so kind of rooted in our own personal convictions, right? In what we believe, that the other side can only be wrong. And again, we kind of stick our toes in the pool of politics, and we have, obviously there's a huge tug of war going on right now. There's certainly a lot of harsh words being spoken on both sides, but if we could only get our politicians to read through these first 20 passages of the Shiva Samhita. But anyway, equanimity, right? So the practice, having a good understanding of what's happening on the other side. We can't get anywhere if we don't reach a certain level of understanding of other people's perspectives. We always have to keep an open mind. I know our views, they're they're in our DNA, so it's so difficult to override them. Okay, so the fifth, restraint of the sense organs. Again, this is pretty common. It's pratyahara. And the sixth, curbing of the diet. And curbing of the diet, of course, there is a lot of information in here about how to curb the diet. It also comes up in Hatha Yoga Pradipika. A lot of restraining of certain foods and so on. I wish I could bring it up. Let me see. Maybe I have it saved here. But maybe not. It goes on later on, I believe in this fourth chapter, where it then goes to say, well, the perfected yogi need not really restrain his or her diet. So early on in practice, a dietary restraint, picking up on some type of, diet that is not dieting, but a diet that is going to be helpful in creating balance in your body is really important. I just wrote about this recently, about how the body, right, and any distress that the body might feel usually manifests itself as mental distress as well. So yeah, the more fit the body is, right, the healthier the body feels, the healthier the mind can oftentimes be as well. So the sixth, curbing of the diet. And then there is no seventh. Love that. All right, so it does go on, actually, when we get to the 20... This is a very easy pranayama. It goes on to explain, I think 16 different pranayamas in this chapter. We're only going to deal with this very first one in passage 24. Then the wise yogi should block pingala, that's the right nostril, with the right thumb, and inhale through ida and hold, that's the left nostril, and hold his or her breath for as long as he or she can. Then the yogi should exhale through pingala, gently, not quickly, before inhaling through pingala and holding his or her breath for as long as he or she can. Okay, so this is essentially Nadi Shodhana. But what we're going to do is just slightly different, right? We're not going to count out the retentions so much as I've done in the past, but instead, what we're going to do is just hold the breath for as long as we can. So this can be kind of difficult to measure out, as each of us will, certainly have different retention rates. Right? So if you practice pranayama a lot, there's a very good. So what I want you to do is just this pattern, of course, is we're going to be using our fingers, right? Ideally, the thumb and ring finger, the right hand, right? The thumb on my right thumb on my right nostril, my right ring finger on my left nostril. We're going to first breathe in through the left and hold the breath for as long as we can, and then we're going to exhale through the right. We're going to then inhale through the right, hold the breath for as long as we can, and then exhale through the left. And we're going to repeat that 3 times, okay? So it's the odd thing. I will coach you along for sure, but I want you to find your own retention. Retention should be held not up to like 100%. You should not be gasping for air, okay? So I want you to hold the breath where it becomes, mildly difficult. All right? Not moderately, right? Certainly not extremely, but mildly difficult to hold the breath. That's when you begin your exhale so that you can then begin your inhale. Otherwise, you'll just be gasping. Okay, we're going to begin with a round of just 3 breaths. Okay, remember using your right thumb and right ring finger, right thumb on right nostril, ring finger on your left nostril. We'll begin breathing, again, after we do the 3 rounds of breath, we'll begin breathing with an inhale through the left nostril to hold, exhaling right. Inhaling right to hold, exhaling left. That will be 1 round. I want you to go at your own pace as I coach you along. Again, the timing is likely to be off a little bit. Sit up tall, ears, shoulders, hips aligned. You can close your eyes if you'd like. You can place your left hand on your lap, maybe to your belly. Let's first move to an exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. As we exhale, bring the right hand up to your face, placing your right hand on your right thumb on your right nostril. Deep inhale through the left nostril. And then we're going to hold both. Remember, you're going to hold for as long as you can. You need not follow my instructions if you're going to stretch it out a little bit longer. Now let's exhale through the right. Inhale right. Holding. Remember, you're going to hold for as long as you can. My instruction might not be matching your rhythm, which is totally fine. You might be exhaling left. Completes 1 round. 2 more rounds. Inhale left. We hold both. Remember, you want it to be mildly difficult. So you might be exhaling right. Then we inhale right. Hold. Again, you might be exhaling left. Remember, find your own rhythm. Inhale left. And hold. If you find that you're finishing up before me, which is possible, I just want you to sit, breathe, focus on your breath. On the other hand, you might be exhaling right. Inhaling right. Hold. Remember, if you finish up, just take 3 full breaths and stay focused on your breathing. Exhaling left. The right hand can come down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And then exhale. And loosen control of your breathing. Just stay focused on your breath. Remove any distractions and quiet your mind. Move to an exhale. Deep inhale, shoulders rise. And out through your mouth, exhale. Shoulders roll back and down. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Please be safe, right? Help there, people. All right. So stay safe, stay healthy. Peace.